The Mississippi River, a powerful artery of American history, carries more than just water and silt. It holds secrets, stories of triumph and tragedy. One such secret is the Sultana, a steamboat whose name is etched in tragedy. On a fateful night in April 1865, the Sultana met its doom, a story where the river ran red with the blood of over 1,800 souls. The explosion tore through the night, leaving chaos in its wake. The Sultana disaster eclipsed even the Titanic in its death toll, yet it remains one of America's forgotten tragedies. The steamboat, once a symbol of progress, became a floating coffin. The river a graveyard. Most importantly, it is to remember the victims whose cries still echo through the mists of time. Their stories deserve to be told, their memories honored. The year was 1865. The American Civil War was drawing to a close. Thousands of Union soldiers, prisoners of war, endured unimaginable hardships. The Sultana, a wooden-hulled side-wheel steamboat, became a vessel of hope and despair. Built in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Sultana was a sight to behold. Intended for 376 passengers, it carried over 2,400 souls. Little did they know their journey home would lead to a nightmare. The Sultana's boiler was a ticking time bomb, poorly maintained and overburdened. Soldiers eager to return home boarded the Sultana with dreams of reuniting with their families. The steamboat set off on the Mississippi River, unaware of the impending disaster. As the Sultana sailed, the weight of its passengers strained the vessel. The boiler finally gave way, leading to one of the deadliest maritime disasters in American history. The Sultana embarked on her fateful journey on April 24th. She departed Vicksburg, Mississippi, heading north against the mighty current of the Mississippi. The river, swollen from spring rains, churned and swirled, a silent menace beneath the bustling activity on the decks. As the Sultana steamed northward, a sense of unease settled over the vessel. The overcrowded conditions and the ever-present danger of disease created a palpable tension. On the night of April 27th, the Sultana approached Memphis, Tennessee. A brief stop was made to repair one of the ship's 4 boilers. As the Sultana continued north, the repaired boiler groaned and hissed under the immense pressure. Around 2 in the morning, as most of the passengers and crew slept, the overstrained boiler finally gave way. A deafening explosion ripped through the Sultana, splitting the ship in 2. The roar of the explosion reverberated across the water, shaking the very foundations of the riverbed. The force of the blast hurled passengers and debris high into the night sky. Screams of terror filled the air as men were thrown from their bunks, their dreams of home shattered. Fire, fueled by the wooden superstructure of the Sultana, erupted with terrifying speed. The once majestic steamboat, now a mangled wreck, began to sink rapidly. Those lucky enough to survive the initial explosion found themselves plunged into the icy waters of the Mississippi. Flames danced across the wreckage, casting an eerie glow upon the water. The river, now a churning cauldron of fire and debris, echoed with the cries of the dying. The scene that unfolded in the aftermath of the explosion was one of unimaginable chaos and suffering. Men, women, and children struggled to stay afloat amidst the burning wreckage and debris. The cries of the injured and the dying pierced the night, a chilling symphony of despair.
Some clung to pieces of the shattered ship, their bodies battered and burned. Others, desperate to escape the inferno, swam towards the distant shores, their strength fading with each stroke. The lucky few managed to cling to driftwood or debris, praying for rescue.
Rescue efforts were hampered by the darkness, the swift current, and the sheer scale of the disaster. The screams of the survivors, echoing across the water, drew the attention of nearby boats and residents along the riverbank. Acts of heroism emerged from the chaos as civilians risked their own lives to save complete strangers.
Fishermen, Riverboat captains and former slaves braved the flames and the treacherous currents to pull survivors from the water. But for every life saved, countless others were lost to the unforgiving river.
The Sultana disaster, a tragedy that claimed more lives than the Titanic, should have been etched in the annals of history. Yet, it faded from public consciousness with a speed that is both perplexing and unsettling. How could a disaster of such magnitude be relegated to the footnotes of history? The reasons for the Sultana's obscurity are complex and multifaceted. The nation, still reeling from the Civil War, was weary of death and tragedy. The assassination of President Lincoln, just days after the Sultana disaster, overshadowed the steamboat's sinking. Over time, the story of the Sultana faded from public memory. Today, it remains a poignant reminder of how easily history can be forgotten. Despite the conspiracy of silence that shrouded the Sultana disaster, the memory of that fateful night was kept alive by those who survived and those who bore witness to the horror. Families of the victims ensured that the story of the Sultana was passed down through generations. The Sultana Disaster Museum in Marion, Arkansas, stands as a testament to the human cost of the tragedy and serves as a stark reminder of the importance of remembering. The Mississippi River flows on, its currents whispering tales of bygone eras. The Sultana, once a grand lady of the river, now rests beneath its surface. The river remembers, holding the stories of the victims, their hopes, their dreams. Let us not forget the Sultana, her passengers and her crew.